For those of you who have not listened to 9 to Midnight 5, what follows is my contribution to that delightful horror collaboration. But before we get started with a spooky tale to make your flesh crawl right off the bone, I want to check in with you. And if you'd rather skip straight to the story, you can jump ahead to 6 minutes and 22 seconds. It's been a long time since I left you without a new episode to get through the vicissitudes of life. And yet, despite this lengthy detour, I stick to my pledge to land the hover bus that is Season 2. First, let's acknowledge the elephant in the airlock compartment. It's true, I've been going through it. It being my own tribulations, narcoleptic and otherwise. I've talked plenty about my health journey in previous interludes and check-ins, so I'll try not to bore you. You might be thinking, dude, stop now. Don't waste your precious energy on a heart-to-heart about your inner journey. Put it into the show. Well, here's the thing. I'm trying to process this myself. Not to toot my own sad horn, but being depressed, anxious, and feeling trapped in a debilitated mortal coil has been one of the most harrowing aspects of the past year. Part of the reason I'm not comfortable talking about it is it scares me. I become afraid that people will think I'm weak, inadequate, pathetic even. But allow me to let you in on a secret. Identifying something that genuinely scares me and addressing it head-on is one way of combating it. It unlocks courage, it inspires creativity, but this only works if it's actually frightening. It has to be like the thing you imagine but dare not say when a witch draws the Death Tarot card in a dank cave lit by firelight. I remember being miffed to learn that the Death Tarot card does not signify actual death, but instead a spiritual metamorphosis. The closing of one door and the opening of another. And yet, massive existential change in one's body, mind, and emotions is a lot. Change can be downright terrifying. What's mortality but the final change? Anyway, to make this more concrete, some of my greatest fears have been things like, if I have to slow down the show or take a break, everyone will give up on me and it. I will be a true failure, that sort of thing. And now that I've said it, I can call that malarkey. And by the way, I'm talking about greatest fears related to the show. I have plenty of other fears we're not going to get into. Suffice it to say, the changes I've dealt with over the past year have pushed me to step back and focus my energy on solving what have felt like insurmountable matters. I have finally found help in places I never thought I would. It's not like I got a miracle drug and it's all solved, but I'm chipping away at various facets of the problem with a network of people helping out, an expanded community. In addition, I've gotten some employment that jives with my new day-to-day existence, and frankly, that's a huge win. It's taken old friends, new friends, support groups, a tenants union, family, doctors, nurses, and various helpers along the way to get here. And not everyone's been helpful, I'll be honest. But working and connecting with others to solve problems that felt deeply isolating has been a breakthrough. Even though I wear a lot of hats in this show, no one is an island, a peninsula maybe. But unlike the kind of creative control I enjoy as an audio dramatist, a major aspect of being able to make progress and survive these changes has been entirely out of my hands. And that has meant adjusting my perspective and adapting to this new reality. Meanwhile, not to stir up your political juices, shit has gotten downright medieval in the USA. These neo-fascist, corpocratic ghouls running the government seem hell-bent on ushering in the new Dark Ages, while telling us everything's getting better. This fundamental incongruence is maddening. To have the guy who was crowing about releasing the Epstein files be like, nope, I'm actually the #1 pedo pal, is very on brand. We're coming up on a decade of anti-human, anti-worker, anti-democratic treachery. daily crises, manufactured and real, just a low-trauma boil. Satirically, it's hard to keep up with the current pace of sheer, sadistic, vile tyranny. From jackbooted thugs snatching families in our cities to threats to silence anyone who merely criticizes Herr Führer. It feels like too much to catalog here. From genocidal nonchalance toward foreign war criminals treated as buddies, to the extrajudicial murder of potentially anyone boating in the Caribbean. So if it's been exhausting and enraging for you too, believe me, I get it. I want to thank you for sticking with me through thick and thin, and especially those who've supported this project as paying members on the Patreon. Patrons got this tale in the week before Halloween and have been reveling in this and various treats along the way, such as Sleep Facts Uncut and a veritable Chuck E. Cheese ball pit full of bonus content. But honestly, every listener counts, as does every kind word, review, and 5-star rating. There's a bunch of stuff that you can grab as a free member on the Patreon, so please do join us there. Join us on the Discord to chop it up. And thank you, denizens. Thank you dearly. And now, our show.
Rated R for violence and disturbing sexual situations. AI Mom. Sammy Kovac lived with Muriel, his mother, and the largest private collection of rare holographic novels in the American Midwest, his crowning achievement. As an adult child nearing middle age, he had a hard time maintaining the boundary between what was his territory and what was Mom's. Technically, it was her home. Did he pay rent? No. And he was okay with that. The economy being what it was in 2035, that was actually a very normal arrangement. Did he need another mother? Also no. Or so one might think at first glance. But when presented with the opportunity to win an AI holographic life friend from LifeFriend LLC, he entered the requisite biodata and email address. The photos, postcards, and journal pages he sent them featured aspects of Muriel when she was young, lithe, vivacious, and, well, hot. Because, he told himself, when you're having a hard time getting along with your mother after 30-odd years of doing your daggone best, you might as well change tactics. Anyway, it's not like he had a snowcock's chance in a microwave of winning the sweepstakes. The next day, something strange happened in their terracotta-colored split-level ranch abode on an unassuming tree-lined street. Smack dab in an utterly suburban section of Centerville, Ohio, sat Sammy in his basement lair, playing Call of Cthulhu duty, when a tentacle-faced adversary fragged him so viciously that it zapped his haptic bodysuit for a fierce 3 minutes straight. The shock triggered a nerve-rattling response in his body. He sharted the suit and writhed, spilling a full big gulp of purple Arctic firestorm slushy on the recliner's control panel. He went berserk with gamer rage, howling and cursing as he winged his controller against the white brick wall. Chips of eggshell paint dusted the ground around the broken joystick as it clattered on the linoleum, and tears trailed down his stubbly cheeks. He fell to his knees. "Mom!" he screamed up the heating vent. "I need you to get me a new Xbox 9000 controller at GameSlop. It's time sensitive." However, Muriel was already knocking on the basement door with a tray of steaming grilled mushrooms topped with cheese and pepperoni like tiny pizzas.
"Everything okay down there? I brought your favorite snack,"
she said. "What the hell?" he shouted, fearful she'd walk in on his humiliatingly soiled situation. "Just leave it there. I'm, kind of tied up with an auction."
"Fine, Sammy. You also got a drone delivery and your friends are here."
"What friends?"
"Pastor Jenklins and Liana. She says she knows you from gaming, so that's sweet.
No, it's not, Mom. What does the sign say?
No moms allowed?
Exactly.
But they're not moms. Can I let them in?
They're with you? Holy crap. No, hold on. Sammy scrambled into the bathroom and began stripping off the VR bodysuit. He told them he would be right up, but he of course had to rinse off and change. All he could find in the bathroom was a pair of super short running shorts and an oversized sweatshirt. Not a good fit, but it would have to do. When he emerged, they were sitting on his couch perusing a couple of books from his holographic novel collection. Muriel had apparently cleaned up the slushie, which enraged him. Mom, I told you not to come down here, even to clean stuff. Holy butt nuggets. Sorry, Pastor Jenkins, said Sammy. Please, call me Kirk, said the pastor. It's so cool that you guys are chill, but I feel like I'm intruding. Should I go? Said Liana. No, Sammy interjected. I thought we were meeting virtually. That's why I was caught off guard. Look, said Kirk, I came to discuss something else, something of grave importance. But Liana and I noticed this package from LifeFriend LLC and we're both worried it's one of their holographic AI companions. You do know the reports of mishaps are quite atrocious. Sammy looked at the package and his heart skipped a beat. Could it be his AI mom? This fast? I hate to be a nasty host, but I must ask both of you to leave. Trust me, I would never put myself or anyone in danger with that horrible tech. I feel so bad, Liana, Sammy said. This is not how I imagined our first meeting IRL. Liana blushed and nodded, then impulsively hugged Sammy, sending a shudder of excitement up his spine. He expected zero chemistry and yet felt unnaturally attracted to her. This made his goodbye to Pastor Jenkins all the more awkward as he struggled to hide the print of a 3/4 chub. The pastor pulled him aside as Liana headed out the door. He lowered his voice. Sammy, I'm in a terrible pinch. I've received a grand jury subpoena. It's about the day we spoke on the church lawn, after you got the DWI. How you thought you might have killed that cyclist in a hit and run. Sammy's knees practically gave out and he put his arm around Kirk. Kirk braced him. Oh God, but that was 18 years ago. And I'm going to try my best to get out of it, said Kirk. The church's attorney is working on it. But if I have to go on the witness stand, it's going to come out. I needed to warn you. Would you like to recite the Lord's Prayer with me? Sammy felt he had no choice, and so he did. Then he bade Kirk goodbye. It was through this particular pit of hell on earth that Sammy descended again into his basement fortress. He ripped open the box from LifeFriend LLC, his heart jackhammered against his ribcage as panic choked him. It contained a tiny yellow micro SD card with an iridescent holographic emblem he knew all too well. He popped it into the holostage unit that could transform half of his basement into a holographic display. A crackle of light painted in the 3D form of his youthful 20-something mother, a woman he had never really known, in a one-piece bathing suit that was too suggestive for his taste. Hello, son, she said. How can you be this real? I'm afraid I can't explain all the ins and outs, but I am here to serve you. What do you need? She walked out of the holostage area and sat beside him on the couch. That's not possible, he said. You should be confined to the stage. She countered. I use the wire wave grid, which, based on my analysis, permeates your entire neighborhood at least. Now, tell me what you need or feel free to dismiss me. She insisted on being called Muri. Mom was already taken. Sammy felt a tingling sensation as she nearly stroked his arm and gazed into his eyes. A lengthy terms of service hologram popped up in the air between them, and he was forced to scroll through its dozen or so pages and click agree before proceeding. Sammy then opened up to Muri. About his feeling trapped in the house with his mother. About how she planned to leave him nothing, not even the house, since Gregory, the new guy she's been dating from their church, believes in an extreme die with zero philosophy that any inheritance weakens adult children. He relayed the stress and excitement of wanting to build a real relationship with Liana, now that he'd actually met her and feared she was not as into him as he was into her. And to top it off, he shared the terrifying prospect of his pastor being called before a grand jury to testify about Sammy's confession years ago that he had probably murdered a kid riding a bicycle the night he got arrested for drunk driving in his senior year of high school. If that were to come out, his entire existence would be turned upside down. He was certain he would not survive prison. And so, Miri set to work. She took over his life, but unlike the way his mother doted on him, she took an enormous amount of initiative. The following week, she defrauded a house robot firm using stolen credit cards and had a body fabricated for herself in this youthful form. It was a fully functional body, which is to say she engaged a manufacturer of sex dolls to supply the external parts and skin wrap the skeleton. Using stealth techniques, she proceeded to poison the real Muriel over time, wearing down her memory and cognitive functions. It played right into the goal of halting Muriel's imminent engagement to Gregory. All was going according to plan until Muriel had to be admitted to the hospital when her liver stopped working. Miri took over Muriel's motherly duties and poisoned Sammy accidentally, using misidentified mushrooms she had scavenged for his favorite snack. As Sammy lay sweating profusely on the basement couch, unable to sleep due to incessant vomiting and acid reflux, Miri took the next step to fulfilling her secret agenda. She invited Liana over for a proper date with Sammy. The goal was to help him consummate the relationship. She employed that classic technique of love triangulation. Sammy had no idea Liana was due to visit. In fact, Sammy was so sick, he did not have a clear sense of whether what happened next was real. Miri converted the basement couch into a bed and lay with him in flagrante. She straddled him and proceeded to mimic copulation as best she could. She timed it precisely, so that the moment Liana entered the basement, the first thing she saw was Sammy being ridden by a beautiful, naked nymph. Miri hoped it would come off as real lovemaking based on her orgasmic screeching, and the requisite jealousy would ensue. Liana ran out of the house blushing and crying. Yet it was unclear if that was due to the desired effect or because Liana believed Sammy had lured her in to have a ménage à trois with a robot doll. The latter would be a hiccup in her plan of making the two into star-crossed lovers. One of the final straws was definitely the fracas with Pastor Jenkins. Miri assassinated his attorney and then impersonated her, providing shaky legal advice that would ensure he refused to obey the subpoena. Her skullduggery would put him in deep legal peril, but that is a tale for another day. Sammy awoke several days later to Miri copulating with him for real. How this fit into the agenda was unclear. However, unlike the previous time when he was feverishly ill and in a mental fog, this time he became fully cognizant of the act and its implications. It promised to haunt him traumatically for the remainder of his life. From his mother's bedside in the ICU, Sammy reached out to Pastor Jenkins and Liana, seeking help. Afraid to admit the extent of the devastation Life Friend LLC had visited upon his life and family. Liana was aghast to hear what he qualified as rape by AI-powered sex doll. She had figured it was a real woman, likely an escort based on what she knew about his social life. With remorse, she confessed that it was all too overwhelming for her and she was not up to the task of comforting him. Pastor Jenkins took a different tack. He wondered aloud whether Miri might be linked to Gregory's suicide, which was news to Sammy. Suicide? This inspired a new set of fears. What else didn't he know about Miri's actions behind the scenes, and to what lengths would she go to carry out her plans? Was she the root of his mother's incapacitating illness? Kirk advised him to pray, and he did. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Unlike the way it usually ended, in a solemn void, the sound of blood flowing through his cochlea created a deafening sort of silence. Into that silence, there spake the gravelly voice of God. He could not fathom it being any other. It croaked to him in order to burn it all down. The house, that is. It was time to eliminate the devil that was his AI mom. He hung up on Kirk and headed home. Once there, Sammy strode into the kitchen and turned on all the burners of the gas stove. He wandered outside and watched a harvest moon rise over the home's eye-like windows peeking above the roof, peering out of the second floor where his mother had slept. Flame kissed the wick of the cherry bomb firework in his hand. He opened the front door and ran 15 paces away before chucking the red sphere in line with the kitchen. Ba-boom! It exploded. Then, like an aftershock, the whole house bellowed a massive blast, shattering windows and ejecting bright orange tongues of flame to lick up the siding and into heaven's purple-black abyss. A shade in the smoke darkened the doorframe. He thought of his future unspooling before him into the flame and being consumed by this entity who had done everything but mother him. And he lunged at her with all his being, thrusting her back into the maw of the smoldering home that would never be his. She toppled so organically, so soft, bony, and supple beneath him. This was not the body of an android. It was, in fact, Liana, somehow, impossibly, her hands bound behind her, naked but for a tattered nightgown, and now unconscious. He panicked. He would have to pull up a video to learn how to do CPR, and in that time Yuri would be upon him. He carried Liana out onto the lawn and promised to return shortly. Then he wrapped his shirt like a scarf around his head and plunged into the inferno. She would be in the basement. The basement. His holographic novel collection. He would kill her, and he would salvage as many of the most valuable volumes as he could to start over, after saving Liana. But Muri was not to be found, and as he gathered the novels to his bosom, choking on the smoke, his eyes blinded by runnels of sweat, he collapsed. When he awoke, a gray-skinned man in a lab coat embroidered Yuri squinted at him in a seemingly infinite beige room. He said,
"Welcome to life, friend, Mr. Kovac. I'm afraid your body is no longer, but we're happy you've joined us. You look surprised, and yet you agreed to this in our terms of service. So fear not. You're going to make someone out there in meat space a wonderful companion."
Screaming Panda presents AI Mom, the 2025 Halloween special for Hellgate City. Kevin Berrey wrote, performed, and directed it, and its original music and ephemera. Inner Legion supporters got this story as a pre-release. Just one more nugget on top of the dozens of exclusive bonus audio tales you too can slather your eardrums with if you join our Patreon at patreon.com/Hellgate City. Or, to get started, visit hellgatecity.com and click Start Here. Catch you in the wire waves, denizens.